Right now we're joined by Craig Karges, and Craig is coming to the Scottish Rite Cathedral on Friday, March 13th. He's bringing his very unique show to us here in West Reading, and I can't wait to see it, can't wait to be a part of it. Good morning, Craig. How are you?
Good morning, Mike. How you doing?
Doing very, very well. Just thinking about your show, and we're watching videos all the time here at the station, just being absolutely amazed by what you do on stage. Your show's so unpredictable. How do you prepare for it?
Well, it's a certain format that I follow. So, and I've done 5,000 performances in about every situation you can think of. So now it's I just get used to doing what I do. It's like getting up and going to work. It's like what you do in the studio.
It's just like breathing for you at this point.
It is just like breathing, yeah. And then every once in a while, last year we had two, in November, and then again just 2 weeks ago. Unusual things do happen. Like I was in Rochester, New York for a company, and we were in a hockey arena, and 3,000 people, which is a big audience for me. And I shared the stage with members of Stomp, the Broadway show, and Cowboy Monkey Rodeo.
They were just in Reading.
Were they the Cowboy Monkey Rodeo?
At the Fightin' Phil's last year, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm thinking just when and I had to, it was a Western theme sales rally for this company. So everything had a Western theme to it, and I had to come on as like a medicine man type person and a character, which I don't usually do. So just when you think you've done everything, you do something like that, and you share a stage with Cowboy Monkey Rodeo and Stomp, and as a medicine man. And then a few weeks ago, as soon as I came back, I was on a Europe and Mideast tour for the military, and it's like I came back on a Wednesday, and Saturday night I did a private party for a guy, his 50th birthday party. And they told me ahead of time, they said, you're going to be opening for a national band. And I said, okay. And then I found out when I was in Greece, my wife calls me and says, hey, that national band you're opening for is Maroon 5. And I said,
gosh.
You're kidding me. It's 200 people. 200 people. And they had Maroon 5 come in, and I opened for them. Luckily, the guest did not know it was Maroon 5. It was a surprise because they would have hustled me off stage, I'm sure.
So you go from performing with the Cowboy Monkey Rodeo to Maroon 5.
Yeah, and now I'm going to be in West Reading at the Scottish Rite Auditorium, so that's exciting too. It's been a very exciting first quarter of the year.
It's going to be amazing. You were mentioning you were just over in Europe doing a tour. So you're in Europe, you go over there. Which countries were you in again in Europe?
Started in, where did we start? We actually went to the Middle East first. We went to Bahrain. And then worked my way back. I went to Greece, and then I went to Italy and Spain. So
you work your way back here through the Middle East into Europe, then back to the States for a couple of shows, and then coming up later this month, before you come here to West Reading, you have an Asian tour.
Right. I leave Valentine's Day for some shows stateside up in Minnesota, which is a great place to be in February. And then I heard it was 2 in Reading. Was it 2 in Reading today?
Yeah, it's 8 degrees in Reading right now. But 2, 8, what does it matter?
Yeah,
it's single digits, man.
And then I'll go from there to Korea, and then Japan, and then Singapore, and then Guam. And then I come back from Guam and do a couple of shows actually in Phoenix. I won't come home. I'll do a couple of dates in Phoenix, and then I'll come home for, I think that's the week we do. That's the March 13th week. So I'll be gone for about a month coming up. And I'll be coming to you guys from Phoenix.
Now, when you tour that much and you travel that much and you go to different countries, is there a noticeable difference in how the crowds react to you in each country?
A little bit. It's not most of the when I tour internationally. It's amazing. We are so lucky that most people speak English, and I mean most of my audiences do when I travel to people that we work with, and it is just I'm very fortunate with that. But you do notice some cultural differences. And there's some things that you have to be careful of, but it's and oftentimes I'm booked by people that are huge American interests. So a lot of Americans and expats are in the audience, so that's not a problem either. But I used to go to Saudi Arabia and work for Aramco Oil, and that's the huge oil conglomerate. So they would have communities. They had about 5 communities around Saudi, and you would go into each one, and that was a real multinational audience because there were people from America, there were people from Norway, there were people from England, Australia, and as well as people from the Arab countries. So that was always a really interesting dynamic.
You mentioned all these countries that you've had the opportunity to perform in. Have you ever been shocked when you were maybe contacted from one of these countries, from a company in one of these countries to come perform, that you're going to actually go there and perform?
Every time, first time I went to Egypt, this was back before we had an answering machine, but it was one of those like cassette answering machines, where it would click on, and we would check it with a little beeper through a payphone when we were on the road. And I was in the Chicago O'Hare Airport changing flights, and and my wife was out of town at a different meeting, and I decided to check my messages in between flights, and I get this message that's a day or two old, and it's from Dr. Hamadi in Cairo, and he goes, and this is probably late 90s, and he said, this is Dr. Hamadi. I'm in Cairo. We're doing the management conference, and we want you to come in and do it. And I called a couple of days ago and didn't get a response. Does that sound familiar? So I called a couple of days ago, didn't get a response. And so I'm thinking, Cairo. At first, my same thing when we got a call from the Tonight Show.
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking it's a joke at first. The Tonight Show called my wife, and she goes, "Is this Tom?" This friend of ours that always played practical jokes. And they said, "No, it's the Tonight Show." So anyway. And then when I went to Cairo, it was like it was a neat experience. I stayed right on a hotel that was in the Nile, and on this little island. And from my balcony, you could see, when it wasn't smoggy, you could see the pyramids. You could see the Great Pyramids of Giza. And and every time I would walk down into the lobby, I would do like a James Bond theme in my head and put Cairo beneath the, how in spy movies they change countries and they put the name of the city or the country underneath.
Craig Karges is GoldenEye in Cairo.
Right.
That's awesome, man. It's such a great gig you got there to be able to do what you love to do, have fun on stage, and then get paid to travel the world and see places that most of us will only get to look at on the internet or on the Discovery Channel. That's really amazing.
It has been a great life, and I look forward to seeing West Reading as well.
That's right, Craig Karges.
I did the exact same thing with Cowboy Monkeys. I played the James Bond theme in my head, and I put Cowboy Monkey Rodeo underneath the...
He's going to the Middle East. He goes to Europe. Then he goes up to Minnesota, where it's going to be freezing. Then he goes over to Asia, and eventually he will make his way here to West Reading on March 13th, the Scottish Rite Cathedral. Get your tickets now. Go to WEEU.com. Craig, I hate to do this, but we got to get moving. Thanks for taking some time to chat with us this morning.
Thank you, sir.
No problem. We can't wait to meet you. Can't wait to see you here in March. Take care and safe travels.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, there he goes. Craig Karges. Get your tickets now. Go to WEEU.com and buy them up. It's going to be an absolutely amazing show. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're all going to have a great time. A lot of us from WEEU will be there. I'm going to be there. I can't wait. It's going to be great. Friday, March 13th, the Scottish Rite Cathedral. Craig Karges. Tickets on sale now. WEEU.com.